115 to 115, a draw. The decision is a majority decision draw.
A draw, and you can see the reaction of Sweet Pea Whitaker.
People who are passionate about sports betting make one important mistake. They do not control the process. What is one of the most important tips for boxing betting? Don't bet on a draw. The odds for a draw verdict are incredibly poor due to the rarity of that outcome. The chance of winning this kind of bet is negligible. In order to be successful in a bet on a draw, you have to have some control over the process. And a prime example of this involves one of the largest promoters of boxing in the 20th century. On March 13, 1999, two of the best heavyweights of the 90s met in the ring. The fight was between Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield.
So I just told people, yeah, I'm going to knock him out in the third round. I'm going to knock him out. It don't take anything from him, mean that he would fight a good fight.
It was necessary to determine the greatest heavyweight of the 20th century. These two boxers had left all competitors behind. Such an event could only be organized by a person who, for a long time, represented some of the best boxers in the world. Don King, Holyfield's promoter. He took over this mega fight promotion.
We pay this country in the world, man. This is America, baby.
By the end of the 20th century, Don was experiencing serious financial difficulties. Litigations took away part of his fortune, and other promoters sought aggressively to control the market. King needed a mega fight that would help him recover. Evander Holyfield had eliminated Mike Tyson and merged the titles in a rematch with Michael Moorer. He became the owner of the WBA and IBF belts. Lennox Lewis had reclaimed the WBC title thanks to a rematch with Oliver McCall. The Canadian had defended the title 4 times and now entered the main fight of his life. It was Lewis who was supposed to box with Mike Tyson instead of Holyfield, as he was a mandatory contender for the WBC. However, at the time, King decided that Tyson would vacate the WBC title. Don then organized a money fight between Tyson and Holyfield, which Evander won in a historic victory, and Lennox subsequently qualified for the vacant WBC belt. King was a master of the organizational process. He promoted the fight to a global scale, but the net profit from the fight was going to be too small to cover the costs of Don King Productions. However, Don found a way to triple his mega fight income. Lewis, at the age of 33, was considered a minor favorite against Holyfield, who was 36. However, a few days before the fight, bookmakers' bets tilted in Evander's favor. The relatively equal chances of the fighters slightly reduced the odds for a draw verdict, but it was still very high at 27-1, meaning that with a bet of $1, you would receive $27. Before the start of the fight, there was no information about big bets in the American media. However, there were some. An unidentified man bet just over $10 million on a draw verdict. The identity of the man was not disclosed, since in America, betting is considered a form of entertainment as opposed to a legitimate source of income. In the United States, the culture dictates that gambling is part of the gaming process, much like the lottery or a hobby, but not a source of income. To hit the jackpot on a draw verdict, you need to know for sure that the judges will deliver just such a score. There was only one person in the world who knew exactly what the final result would be, and that man was Don King. The fight was intense. 2 days before entering the ring, Holyfield uncharacteristically promised to knock out his opponent in the third round. Despite Holyfield's predictions, Lewis dominated the beginning of the fight, easily winning the first 2 rounds on the judges' scorecards. In the second round, Lewis landed 42 of his 87 blows, while Holyfield landed only 8 of 24. Despite Lewis's early dominance, Holyfield at the beginning of the third round told his corner that this round will be my very best, referring to his previous knockout prediction.
In a very aggressive posture. Well, if he opens up to try to fulfill the round 3 prophecy,
Does Lewis get a chance with the right hand? Lewis with what
Holyfield started the third round aggressively, throwing Lewis multiple combinations in the first 2 minutes.
and Lewis is stunned. Evander attacking, trying to fulfill the prophecy.
At 1 minute, 23 seconds before the end of the round, Holyfield threw a powerful blow that Lewis dodged. Although Holyfield won the third round, he fell short of his knockout prediction.
I don't know what it is. The right hand right there.
Right cross landed flush for Holyfield. Lewis seems to go in the prophecy. And so much for the round 3 knockout.
Only if you see it. Good. Holyfield is out. He wants to talk. The shorter man will do is reach for everything.
Lewis lands the jab and fires the right cross.
He just doesn't believe in this jab, though.
Left hook lands for Holyfield. Backs Lewis into the corner again. Lewis with a right hand to the body, George, but reaching to do so. And you heard Emmanuel Stewart say, come up with the uppercut. Lewis lands a right hand. Holyfield stunned against the ropes. Right hand lands again. Thunder in round 5 for Lewis. To the body. Or is he playing possum? Is he hurt or is he playing possum, George? He's hurt.
Lewis returned to win the fourth round, and he increased his lead by dominating the fifth round as well, landing 75% of his 57 blows, limiting Holyfield to just 11 landed blows.
Later in the round, holding him, punishing him.
So far, he's following it almost to the tee, but Holyfield lands a big left hook as Lewis carelessly drops his right hand.
Getting a little arrogant.
That'll do. Yeah, you got it. Uppercut for Lewis. This is no Mike Tyson that Evander can push around the ring. He gets pushed backward when they come together.
Don't follow a punch around. You just don't do that.
Arrogance of Lewis.
Where Emmanuel Stewart.
They both go down in the corner. Arthur Mercanti is going to rule it a slip.
And the judges really see the clean punches and the effective aggressiveness.
You get missed shots like throwing many punches. Uppercut, uppercut. Right hand, Lewis misses. Goes to the body. If you want to
Don't
finish,
follow him, Holyfield. Don't follow him.
if you want to finish Lennox, go to the body. Big round for Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis, 33 of 59, including 22 of 32 power shots. Don Turner is getting more.
Just get a little closer and stay closer.
Right hand stops Evander in his tracks again.
Lewis, every now and then, whenever he drops his hand or bend his waist, he get in trouble in fighting tonight. But I think Lewis is looking like the better one. When you think about what's going in.
Well, when he uses the uppercut, George, he triples his effectiveness as an
Right hand up and just circle Holyfield to his right. Go to his right and make him throw his left hook.
Lewis landed a short right hand with a thud.
That's even better because if Holyfield charges him a little bit, he can even put a little power to it.
Evander Holyfield gets aggressive, but I've only seen aggressiveness in 2 rounds, and that's the third of the night. I thought he pulled up the night by getting aggressive, just like he's doing now.
Here comes the aggressiveness. Here comes the Holyfield rally. Here comes the indomitable warrior.
He's got to be a rough fighter, and it's a rough game.
Yeah, but Joe Lewis would never revert to all of that.
Hard right hand for Holyfield. Biggest punch in a while. Right cross landed for Lewis.
Everything you get, make him miss by keeping your hands up.
Uppercut him tonight.
You know what? All of the talk about it, Evander may have had too many wars. It happens. This boy was an Olympic super heavyweight champion one time.
Big fight, and he did.
Good right hand by
Right down.
Lewis was too good, leaving Holyfield, the WBA IBF World Champion, 2 or perhaps 3 rounds in his favor and clearly losing in most of the other rounds. Lennox controlled the situation and confidently brought the fight to a win, or so he thought. But the judges had a different vision. 116-113 for Lewis, 115-113 for Holyfield, and the last judge scored 115-115.
115 to 115, even a draw. The decision is even a draw. Both champions retain their belts.
Was this decision really a shock and sensation? No. Just a smart tactical move on the part of Don King. Remember, in order to catch a draw, you just need to control the process. And Don King controlled everything, from promotion and press to royalties, and most importantly, the judges.
Evander, you still have 2 belts. You're still the heavyweight champion of the world. Do you feel like the heavyweight championship of the world after this fight?
Yes, I feel like the heavyweight champ of the world. The whole thing is I'm not the judge as I was fighting. And I haven't got a chance to view the fight. I can't be watching the fight and fighting at the same time.
Well, I know you can't score the fight, Evander, but virtually everybody we know at ringside thought that this was a decisive win for your opponent, Lennox Lewis. Were you surprised to get the draw?
Well, it's real simple. The people around the ring is not the judge. You know, things happen to me sometimes like that. That's just the way it flows. You know, it's always the next time.
The judge's verdict caused a great resonance in the boxing community. The World Boxing Council, together with the International Boxing Federation, authorized an immediate rematch. But it was all said and done. Thus, King killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Firstly, due to a bet from an unknown player, he became richer by $300 million, plus proceeds from the organization of the fight. Secondly, Don understood that after a draw verdict, spectators and organizations would demand a rematch. This brought additional income to the promoter. The most important thing was that Holyfield and Lewis did not knock each other out. Everything went according to King's plan. 2 judges of the first fight were temporarily removed from their posts. They were deprived of their licenses for a period of 1 year. Probably these people received a decent monetary reward for their actions. The second fight aroused public interest but was clearly lost against the backdrop of the scandal after the first one. However, Don King has already done the most important thing. He monetized the fight between Lewis and Holyfield as much as possible.
One good left jab, that gives them confidence.
That is the result, but already Don Turner is yelling at Evander from his corner. He doesn't start round number 2. But Holyfield comes back, and you see Holyfield listening to Don Turner's instruction.
On November 13, 1999, a revenge match took place. As in the previous fight, Lewis gained an early advantage by winning both rounds 1 and 2. He also won round 3 on 2 scorecards. But at the end of the round, Holyfield threw some good blows, including a quick right hook to the side of Lewis's head that helped him win on the 3rd referee's score sheet. Holyfield then won the next 4 rounds.
And Holyfield landed the left hook down. He liked some of what he saw in round number 3. Another big right hand for Waste, inviting Holyfield to jab. Holyfield leaving the opportunity alone for the moment. Right hand over the top by Lewis. But
I'm telling you, and it's paying off great dividends. Ooh, that right hand on the side of the head hurt.
kind of slid past Evander's ear, though. Early on.
You know what? Good left hook.
Solid left hook by Holyfield. And Holyfield grinning as Lewis lands a big right hand. And Halpern telling Holyfield to watch his head as Lewis goes under and then over with the right hand and almost throws Holyfield over the top rope. The trickle outside his right eye as he goes back to the uppercut and busts Holyfield again.
You cannot be allowed to be hit in the chest as a heavyweight. All his for the taking. He had no idea he would have to fight for this title. That's what it's gotten to be. It's got waited around too long and he turned this thing into a fight. He didn't need to be in the fight.
And that was what Lennox Lewis was talking about, I guess, when he said right now, uppercut.
Get in after the storm, he takes it. Lewis should be jabbing and making fight.
They both land uppercuts there. Holyfield with the right hand and Lewis with his own right hand. Big left hook by Holyfield.
They're head to head now, head to head.
Lewis is hurt of a fight. And
That
what
body shot hurt. That body shot hurt. It hurt Lewis.
Hard left hook by Holyfield. Lewis stunned again.
But here comes Lewis now.
Lewis rallying again. Combination. Hard right hand by Holyfield. Lewis to the body. His own right hand lands flush. They trade shots at close range. Round 7, the best round. These two fighters have fought against each other in 2 fights.
Lewis took control of the fight, winning rounds from 8 to 11.
Fires a right hand back and goes to the body.
Leaning forward now. He is into trouble. If only Holyfield could just muster his hands that he's going to fight.
Lewis getting smarter and going to the low. So it's a much more even fight. But despite everything we're saying, Lewis has landed some shots in this round and may in fact be winning the round. Which he did right there.
Jump in.
Their heads come together again, and Lewis produces some good infighting as he drives Evander back to the ropes. Evander trying to flurry at the end of the round. Lewis blunted him there.
I don't know if
Lennox Lewis has never knocked an opponent out past the 8th round. Holyfield has, and he goes for one here.
Holyfield was...
Well, Evander Holyfield won't back down from anybody. Uppercut lands for Lewis. Holyfield misses the left hook.
Will Lewis take advantage of it?
Multiple punches for Lewis. Holyfield not throwing back. Fires the right and drives Lewis into the ropes. Lennox goes back to the body and the uppercut. Thrashing Holyfield with power. Now Holyfield's going to try to flurry again to convince the judges he's won the round.
Holyfield is an excellent boxer. Knows what to do and when to do it.
Lewis got in a last shot, so Holyfield decided to fire a left hook.
Especially in close rounds. Evander looks like he's fresh, and in certain rounds...
He should try to create as much of this as he can.
But he just landed another
side. That's why he shouldn't do it.
Straight right hand lands for Lewis. Evander not throwing right now. Lewis with 2 body shots. 6 minutes to go. It'll be the 11th time in Holyfield's career that he's been into the 2 championship rounds.
Does whatever he wants.
Hard left hook by Holyfield. In terms of energy and the kind of effort the 2 fighters are putting forth. But still, Lewis throws more and lands more in all bleeding again. 4 punches land for Lewis. Holyfield can't fight. I'm not saying I disagree with Harold's card. This round, George.
Evander's got to pull it out. He just can't sit there and box this round. He's got to fight.
Uppercut lands for Lewis. Right hand lands for Lewis.
In the final 12th round, Lewis was more active and won the round by scorecards from 2 judges. Lewis was then voted the winner by unanimous decision with the next score: 115-113. 116-112 and 117-111, becoming the first undisputed heavyweight champion in nearly 7 years. A fun fact, the second fight was much more competitive than the first one. However, King no longer required any special tricks, and he had already done his job. Don won, no matter what the verdict.
And the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
Did the boxers know they were part of one of the biggest scams of the 20th century? No. Holyfield and Lewis were just tools in the great promoter's big game. Don King is a promotional genius. He turned out to be smarter than even the most professional bettor. After all, the secret of the success of any bet is simple and complex at the same time. You need to control the whole process. The main shark of the promotion business kept everything under his control. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for new episodes about the boxing legends of the past.